Trump leans back in his leather seat, flipping through briefing notes. His senior advisor, Mark Stevens, adjusts his tie. "We'll be landing in 2 hours, sir." The flight attendants move efficiently, serving drinks and preparing for descent. Outside, storm clouds gather on the horizon, an ominous sign of trouble ahead. The pilot's voice crackles over the intercom. "Mr. Trump, we may experience some turbulence." Trump waves it off. "I've been through worse. Let's keep moving." The plane shakes slightly, unnoticed by most, except for the flight crew. Mark glances out the window, frowning at the growing storm. Unbeknownst to them, a disaster is about to unfold. The captain grips the controls tightly, his knuckles turning white. "We've lost engine 1. The co-pilot shouts, flipping switches frantically. The plane lurches violently, sending unsecured objects flying in the cabin. Trump steadies himself against the table as his drink spills onto the floor. The flight attendants rush to secure passengers, their faces pale with fear. Mark grabs onto the armrest, his breath quickening. What's happening? Over the intercom, the pilot's voice is tense. "Brace for impact. Emergency landing." The ground rushes toward them, thick trees appearing through the cockpit window. Trump exhales sharply, gripping the seat. This is going to be rough. A deafening crunch echoes as the jet slams into the ground, throwing debris in all directions. The metal groans under pressure, parts of the fuselage collapsing inward. Trump coughs, waving away smoke as he unbuckles his seatbelt. Mark stumbles, clutching his head where blood trickles from a small cut. Flight attendants help passengers, some limping from the impact. A wing, torn from the body, smolders in the underbrush. Trump steps outside, surveying the wreckage with narrowed eyes. They need to take control of this situation. Right now, he says firmly. The jungle stretches endlessly around them, isolating them from the world. The jungle hums with the sounds of unseen creatures, an unsettling reminder of their predicament. A small fire crackles, offering weak illumination against the growing darkness. Mark rubs his temples. "We need to figure out where we are." Trump nods. "And we need to do it fast before panic sets in." A flight attendant hands out the remaining water bottles, supplies already looking scarce. One of the pilots examines the radio, shaking his head. "Total loss. We're cut off." Trump exhales. "Then we need a backup plan." The wind rustles the trees, making the shadows shift ominously. Mark eyes the jungle. We might not be alone out here. The sun rises, casting golden light over the ruined aircraft. Trump adjusts his torn suit, determination in his eyes. They need to move. Mark grabs a makeshift walking stick, his legs still sore from the crash. A few others volunteer to go with them, their faces hardened with resolve. One of the pilots points to a nearby hill. "That might give us a better view." The jungle is thick, every step a battle against vines and uneven ground. Birds scatter as they move, their calls echoing eerily. Trump wipes sweat from his forehead. "Keep going. We don't stop until we find something useful." The survivors left at the wreckage watch them disappear into the dense wilderness, hoping they return with answers. Trump scans the horizon, shielding his eyes from the sun. Mark leans against a boulder, catching his breath. Nothing but trees. One of the pilots pulls out a small mirror, using it to reflect sunlight. Maybe someone will see this. Trump exhales. We need to be smart. This isn't just about waiting for rescue. A flock of birds erupts from the trees in the distance, startling the group. Mark tightens his grip on a makeshift spear. Something's moving down there. The jungle stretches endlessly, offering no clear path to safety. Trump nods. We keep moving. There has to be something out here. The team descends, unaware of what awaits them in the thick undergrowth. A nervous flight attendant glances at the empty water bottles. We don't have much left. A businessman, his suit torn, mutters, "They should have been back by now." The jungle hums with unseen life, making everyone uneasy. One of the pilots sits by the broken radio, adjusting knobs in frustration. A distant rustling in the trees makes everyone freeze. Mark's assistant, Sarah, grips a piece of metal. What if it's not them? Shadows shift at the tree line, but nothing emerges. A survivor mutters, "We need leadership. Trump better have a plan." The fire flickers weakly as night approaches, bringing fresh uncertainty. Trump kneels beside the river, running his fingers through the cool water. Mark dips his canteen, relief washing over him. This could save us. The pilot fills a bottle but pauses, eyes scanning the dense foliage. A deep growl echoes from the trees, making everyone tense. Trump stands, eyes locked on the undergrowth. "We're not alone." Mark grips a sharpened branch, ready for anything. A pair of glowing eyes appear between the trees, watching them intently. The jungle feels suddenly smaller, the air thick with tension. Trump clenches his jaw. "We take what we need, then we go." Trump leads the way, water sloshing in the containers they carry. Mark stumbles but pushes forward, adrenaline taking over. Something moves through the trees, keeping pace with them. A sudden snap of branches makes the pilot turn. They're getting closer. The jungle seems alive, the sounds of pursuit growing louder. Trump grits his teeth. "We're almost there. Move!" The fire at the wreckage flickers in the distance, a beacon of safety. Mark breathes heavily. They need to see us before. A deafening roar cuts through the jungle, freezing them in place. The survivors at the wreckage jump to their feet as Trump and his team emerge. "Get inside," Mark shouts, dragging a water container toward the fire. The jungle explodes with movement as something unseen halts just beyond the clearing. Trump turns, breathing heavily. "We need to reinforce this place, now." The survivors scramble, piling debris to create makeshift barriers. The fire casts long shadows as the jungle grows eerily silent. Sarah whispers, "What was out there?" Trump exhales sharply. "Something we don't want to meet up close." The night settles in, bringing another wave of uncertainty. But now, they are prepared to fight for survival. Trump stands near the fire, scanning the jungle for movement. Mark sharpens a piece of metal, preparing makeshift weapons. Zara ties together loose scraps to reinforce their barrier. The jungle hums with unsettling sounds, each noise making them tense. One of the pilots paces nervously, gripping a flashlight. Trump mutters, "We don't let our guard down, not for a second." A distant roar echoes through the trees, sending chills down their spines. Mark swallows hard. Whatever it is, it knows we're here. The fire crackles, casting long shadows against the broken fuselage. The sun rises over the jungle, painting the sky in hues of orange and red. Trump tightens a wire, connecting it to a salvaged radio transmitter. Mark works alongside him, adjusting broken components. Zara stands atop the wreckage, holding a reflective panel to catch sunlight. "We only get one shot at this," Trump says, focusing on the controls. Mark nods. "If rescue doesn't come, we move out on foot." The makeshift antenna hums as power surges through it. A static-filled crackle breaks the silence. Then a faint voice comes through. The survivors hold their breath, waiting for confirmation that someone is listening. A voice over the radio, "We've received your signal. Hold your position." Cheers erupt among the survivors, but Trump remains focused. Mark grips his shoulder. "They did it." The pilot exhales in relief, staring at the jungle as if daring it to try one last time. Sarah shakes her head. "They're not safe yet." The fire burns low, their defenses weak after the long night. A distant crash in the trees reminds them that they're still being watched. Trump clenches his fists. "We fight if we have to." The rescue team's ETA, 2 hours, if they make it that long. Branches snap as something massive moves toward them. Mark yells, "It's coming!" Sarah grips a torch, raising it high as the fire flares. The survivors rally together, holding whatever weapons they can. Trump steps forward, unwavering. "We don't run." The jungle trembles with unseen movement. Then, silence. A sudden burst of gunfire echoes as the rescue team arrives, breaking the tension. A helicopter's spotlight pierces the darkness, scanning the wreckage. The creatures retreat into the jungle, vanishing as suddenly as they came. The helicopter rises, leaving the wreckage behind. Trump watches the jungle shrink beneath them, deep in thought. Mark slumps against the seat, exhaustion finally catching up to him. Sarah closes her eyes, relief washing over her face. A rescuer hands Trump a radio. "You're lucky we got your signal." Trump smirks. Luck had nothing to do with it. The pilot announces their destination, civilization, at last. The other survivors glance at Trump, realizing that, for better or worse, his leadership got them through. As the helicopter speeds away, the jungle remains behind, a mystery they'll never forget.